Hey, what's up, dudes? No. Okay. Enough of that. That was I think that's going to be a NAM only thing, So, it's a holiday here in the U.S. today. My kids were off of school all week. So, they were in their, fourth hour of Minecraft. And I decided I'd come downstairs and, spend a little time answering emails. I haven't answered too many emails since Thanksgiving. And it goes to show you how much time I'm putting in on the emails. And I realized that it's a lot of the same questions over and over and over and over again. So I made up a little thing here of all my, not all of them, some of them are very specific. But, I can't stress it enough. I'm not tech support for these companies. I'm not tech support for TH2. I'm not tech support for GR5. If you bought it, you should be able to get free tech support. If you stole it, well, you're on your own. I can't help you. I can't get it to work, and I can't call tech support. You are in trouble. All right, so I wrote up, these are the top 18. These are the top 18. I was going to try to do 20 questions, but I ran out of little index cards. So we're doing the top 18. Not in any particular order. These are just in the ones that just seem to happen the most frequently. Number 1. Where did you buy your Chinese guitar? God, I'd be loaded if I was able to get paid every time someone asked me that question. And I've answered it, I don't know how many countless times, and yet it comes back over and over and over again. And I've said many times, you can't buy them in the U.S., you can't buy them in almost any country, right? Sales in countries are prohibited. Purchasing is prohibited only in France and Italy, as far as I know, and pretty much every other nation is fine. But in the U.S., there's no sales in the U.S. So if you're buying one in the U.S., this guy who's selling it to you is definitely in trouble. A foul of federal law, whether they go after it's another story. I think they have bigger fish to fry. But the law was really to address all the people who would be in Times Square selling fake Rolexes. They had no way to really do anything, and it wasn't until the federal law came about that they at least had something that they could arrest the seller. But they don't want to hurt tourism, so they don't arrest the buyer, right? But I bought mine from Trade Tang a couple of years ago. In fact, the last purchase I made was, I want to say, the very start of 2011. The last Gibson copy I bought was in October of 2010. And by January of 2011, that guy was gone. So these guys are here today, gone later today. Trade Tang is like eBay. They have sellers, and they have, and you don't bid on it, but it's like a buy it now. So I went to Trade Tang. Other people tell me they've used AliExpress, they've used DHgate. Those seem to be more popular these days because I get emails from people telling me about their guitars. If you do go through them, you want to find a seller that has got a lot of guitars sold and really good feedback. If he's got no guitars sold or 1 or 2 sold, avoid. If he's got really low feedback, and by low feedback I mean like below 90%, avoid. You don't want to deal with that person. And if anyone ever asks you to send them money through Western Union, don't, because you can just kiss that money goodbye. You can Western Union money to the clearinghouse, to the site. If they accept Western Union, that's how you want to pay them. But you have to go to the site, and because they have a refund process, and basically if you don't get the guitar that you ordered, you're able to open up a complaint, and you can usually either get a little bit of money back or be able to return the guitar. If it never showed up, just get a full refund. So always go through that. Will you sell me your Chinese guitar? No. Sales are strictly prohibited. even if both parties know it's a copy, not allowed. Can't do it. So, I bought a bunch of them 3 years ago. Still got them. They're not going anywhere. If you want to buy one, you got to take a risk and go onto. And I can't tell you how many people say, like, well, I'll just send you the money through PayPal and you just order it because you know what you're doing. It's like, no. No. What do you use for an amp? Well, I got the Viper back there, but I rarely use it. In fact, I was just thinking today I should just dump it, because I never use it. I use it maybe twice a year. I was jamming with some friends and I ran out and bought an amp. And then I got them to come over here and I bought an electronic drum set and we all just went through headphones. And that worked out a million times better than the jamming and in his brother's, they called it the hobby house, some nice fat house over in Dover. For as nice as that place was, it wasn't very good acoustics, and, you had to get everyone together. It was much easier here. So I don't use an amp other than that Viper. I really go through computer software, and I use, mainly, right now I'm using Guitar Rig 5, and the other one I use is TH2. Those are the two main packages. And that's it. How do you connect your guitar to your PC? Boy, I get that all the time. I go through and I have a video called My Rig, and it shows how I connect. I go through an old, circa 2001. I bought it on clearance, so that's like when it was discontinued. Tascam, was it TM D1000, right? TM is Tascam Mixer, and D1000 is the digital 1000. I think they had a digital either 4000 or 5000. They had a nicer model. But this is the D1000. It works fine. Yeah, works okay. I got no complaints with it. Other than the hardware is the card that goes in a PCI slot. You know what you're talking about in computers. No USB. It's the old PCI slot, and it runs a TDIF cable. Looks like a big printer cable. Has 8 channels in and 8 channels out. And so I run my guitar through one channel. I run the return through 2 channels, and I just hard put them left and hard right. And that's it. You can use, any sort of interface. PreSonus makes some good stuff. My buddy Ryan uses a lot of PreSonus, Focusrite, Tascam, M Audio, Line 6. There's a whole bunch of people. The one thing you got to get is ASIO drivers if you're on a PC. If you're on the Mac, I think it's either Core Audio or Audio Units. I forget what their technology is called, but they have a technology very similar. But I think is it Core Audio? I forget now. But on the PC, which is what I use, ASIO. That's the standard. If you don't have that, it's not going to work. You're going to get latency. You got to have ASIO. Period. All right. That's that one. Do you play in a band? No. I was jamming with some friends, but that sort of broke up. Last time, back in January, I sat down with some friends and we talked about maybe getting together like twice this year on video. And these are really top-notch guys. So we're trying to put something together because we can't just get together and wing it. We're going to try and work something out. Maybe they'll come over once in the spring and then like once in the fall. And we'll have the Licks in-house band like a couple of times a year. Do you have music I can buy? No. Never really recorded anything that was published. A couple of years ago I thought about putting something together, but I just never found the time. Ask anybody who's asked me to record something for them. I think I'm like 12 months into the last request. I still haven't done it. So I'm like really bad about procrastinating on that stuff because I've got a million things. Everyone's pulling on me for something. I'm going, it's like yesterday was Sunday, and we had to go down to Providence, so we went to like the Providence Bruins for the Scouts, and it was a big family event, and if either there's something broken on the house or there's something going on with the family or something is happening that I haven't had a chance to record, but it is on the to-do list, and we'll see. if I can finally get something together in 2014. I thought for sure I was going to do it in 2012. That's how long I've been thinking about it. But still nothing yet. So, sorry, but no. Why did you delete my comment? Well, I may not have deleted it. Ever since YouTube switched to this new comments, they're far more aggressive about flagging things for spam, even when there's really no spam. I think if you use even the word my, they're like, okay, you're trying to sell something of yours. It's pretty weird. And if you mention brands, I think it seems to get... I don't know what the the process is for the spam filter, but it's far more aggressive than it used to be. I find a lot more. Plus, I put filters on with the new system, I put filters on there to filter out any racist, homophobic, or anti-Semitic comments, because I don't have time to babysit clowns all day. So, if you come in here to do racist, anti-Semitic, or homophobic comments, find some other channel to do that. This isn't the place for it. So, sorry. If none of those apply, then my best guess is that you're probably an asshole. That's why I deleted it. It probably fucking blocked you, too. Because, again, I don't have time to babysit fucking clowns all day. All right, what else? Why won't you reply to my message on my comment? It's just a matter of time. Like today, I tried to go through as many as I could. Don't take it personally. I have to prioritize what I do. Most of the things are, I'm decided between this guitar or that guitar. Which one should I get? I've never even heard of either one of the guitars. So I really can't comment on it. Or it's one of the questions where did you buy your Chinese guitar? It's always the same question. So, after a while, like I said, I probably had close to 500 messages unread in my inbox, going back to about, I don't know, Thanksgiving. Actually, I think I went through somewhere around Christmas, or right before that, and I was on my second round now. So, don't take it personally. I try to respond when I can, but if I can't, I just can't. And what happens is you get pushed down onto another page, and then it's it. That's it. It's over. You're not on page one. You're out of my line of sight. If you really want to do it, you might want to check my latest video. I try to reserve some time to respond to videos. But even then, I have to pick and choose. This video, I'm going to respond to every comment. Then other ones, I respond to no comments. And other ones, I pick and choose maybe one or two ones from friends that I'm, good friends with, and they're something's going on, and I feel a need to respond, but I don't like doing that because I don't like playing favorites, right? So I try to. It's like all or nothing, is what I try to do. Who's your favorite guitarist? Boy, that's a great question. It's hard to say who my favorite guitar player is because I like so many different guitar players and I like them for different reasons. So it's hard to say, like, I like this guy over that guy. I mean, if I had to pick one, and let's get a little mind meld going here. What am I going to say? Yeah, I'm going to say Eddie Van Halen. I mean, really, of all the guys, out there, he's probably the one that has influenced me the most, who I just probably like the most. Though if I was stuck on a stranded island, if I was stranded on a deserted island with him, I'd probably fucking kill him in about 15 minutes. He'd be like, yeah, bro, why don't you go out and, like, get you some fish or something, man? And I'd be like, oh, you fucking sure. I love his playing, but every time they interview him, I just want to fucking punch him. I don't know what it is, and I love him. I love his playing. I fucking love it. But as soon as he starts talking, I'm just like, oh, like the day he was I listen to Howard Stern a lot. He was on Stern one day basically saying Hendrix was nothing but effects. And I was like, oh, if I could reach through this fucking radio right now, I would kill you. No. Who had a phaser on all through his first album, Ed? But maybe his second album, too. But as far as guitar playing, I just think he just was such an innovator. and he's so lyrical. I mean, his solos tell stories, for Christ's sakes. They're so good. Probably closely behind that is like your Randy Rhoads, Joe Satriani, Jimi Hendrix, Tony Iommi. There's a whole bunch of people, but if one had to rise to the top, it's probably got to be, Eddie Van Halen. I think Joe Satriani is a more versatile guitar player, that's for sure. But I think I just like Eddie's riffs better. It's just a personal thing. Yeah, that's a hard question. What the fuck? When is the ear training coming? You're right to say that because I feel bad that that hasn't come up yet. You know what it is, and I already talked about how to do the ear training. It's just a matter of playing a little vamp and then hitting C and then some other note. Right? So, like, there's the 6. So, it's just a matter of time, and I just haven't had the time. But I'm hoping that you can make your own tapes, and I will post it. I promise. I'm telling you right now, that will get posted. Mark my words. That's coming up here. It's taken me forever to make it, and I'm answering questions all day. You're right to be mad about that, though. Where do you live? I live right outside the Boston area. I grew up in Boston, still live in Boston. I'm like, I don't know. If you drove in a straight line, I suppose I'm about 15 minutes from the Boston border. In fact, there's a street right down here that I could just drive that street and be right downtown. Downtown Boston. In fact, that street goes all the way from downtown Boston to Rhode Island. We'll see if any of you locals can identify this street. Here's a hint. It's named after a president. All right, what do you do for a living? I get asked that a lot of times, and I don't think I want to get into that. I work for myself. I work I'll just give you the general area. I work mainly in legal services, and I do a little bit of IT work on the side. But that's about it. Will Steve Marchena be back? Actually, he will. I'm planning on having Steve back real soon. In fact, we just spoke recently, and I think I'm going to have him back in just a few weeks if schedules permit. And I'm trying to get a few other people down here. I've been emailing with Chris from Lotus Land and Joe Stump, if you're familiar with his work, and see if I can get them over here. And, it's all about scheduling, and, I'm not a priority for these people, and I know that. So, whenever you're ready, I'm here. But Steve is going to be back real soon. What's your favorite movie? Oh, geez, that's like asking my favorite guitar player or my favorite song. It's like almost impossible to come up. I know a bunch of movies that I like. I mainly like comedies, and I especially like movies that aren't supposed to be a comedy, but they wind up being comedies, if you know what I'm saying, right? Oh, like when I was a kid, I thought The Warriors was like the best movie, but when I saw it recently, I laughed my ass off from start to end. I was like, this is the world's worst fucking movie. It's so bad. It's awesome. But, I don't know. Favorite movie. I can just tell you some movies I really love. Movies I've watched countless times. Predator. I can probably recite every line in it. Hot Fuzz. Oh my God. Of the Cornetta trilogy, right? Shaun of the Dead. Hot Fuzz and World's End. And this is going to be controversial because I know there's a lot of Shaun of the Dead fans out there. But I'd say my number one is Hot Fuzz, followed by World's End, and then ending with Shaun of the Dead. It's because I'm not a big fan of zombie movies, and I just think that they, I don't know. There was just something about Hot Fuzz that was just so stylized and so freaking awesome. I just love that movie. And same with World's End. So, those are up there. Team America, of course, friggin' hilarious. I love that movie. I guess that's, those are the ones that are really first come. Tropic Thunder. Oh my God. Robert Downey Jr. should have won the Academy Award for that. He was friggin' perfect. Ain't no cell phones in 1968. I'm headed to legit. Why don't you play through a tube amp? Well, because I don't own one. And secondly, because I record all of my videos at night, late at night. And if I turned on an amp at, 1:22 a.m., the amp would be the least of my worries. So, live here with my wife and kids, even though I pretty much own the basement. The sound goes right up. We have duct work. We use forced hot air. And that means there's giant holes running up my house. And when I speak, it vibrates those, they're like steel, right? Rolled steel ducts, and you can hear it upstairs. I didn't believe it for the longest time until I was upstairs and someone was down here and I could hear it. And I was like, wow, that's actually pretty loud. So they're right. So that's why I don't play through a tube amp. I don't own a tube amp. I'm probably going to dump the Viper and buy a tube amp. Seymour Duncan just sent me a Vapor Trails. I don't have an effects loop. How am I going to run that? How am I going to really give that a good demo without a nice amp? So I'm probably going to borrow an amp in the short term just to try it out. There was a nice 6505 Plus combo on Craigslist a couple of weeks ago. And the guy had put a nice Celestion speaker in it, and he had it retubed with a Doug's Tubes cocktail. So, it's this cocktail of tubes that go in there that is supposed to be like supery dupery awesome. And, I thought it was a good deal at $300, but I just didn't have the money. I was going away to NAMM, and I wanted to save all my, all my cash, and I just couldn't justify the expense. And of course, it sold pretty quickly. I knew it would. It was up for maybe a week or two, and then boom, gone. I really want an orange. I think I want like a dark Terra or really maybe a Jim Root. I think that's where I'm leaning. They're fairly inexpensive. I could probably get a Jim Root head and matching cab for about $800, which might be my best deal on that. But, we'll see. Maybe I'll still look at a 6505. I mean, they're pretty cheap. You can get one used for around $400. Even without the mods, like that. That was a really good deal. But, if you're not without the mods, $350, $400 all day long at Guitar Center used. So I might just get one of those. I do like the 6505. I think it's pretty versatile. Why won't you spend more than $300 on a guitar? Well, I do, but I don't want to. I mean, I will. Just drop the $1,000 on that Strat, But to offset that, this guitar was $180. Even though when they were new, they were around $1,200. It had problems that were fixed subsequent to my purchase. Here's the thing. I try to go at $300. That's my number. And if it's under that, I'll give it serious consideration. If it's over that, it's going to be really worth it. Now, that Strat I got, the Strat, that had a nostalgia factor that can't be, quantified, right? So there's only... on that particular guitar, that was more like, I remember going down to a store with my dad, and that was a flood of memories. And and as a matter of fact, I've been trying to like recreate my old guitar collection, and it's going to be tricky because a 73 Strat's probably going to run $3 or $4 grand. And even an Ibanez Les Paul is up to like friggin' $500, $600 these days. It's insane. But I try to spend less than $300 because, I have 38 guitars. I don't need a guitar. The last thing I need is a guitar. I need an amp more than I need a guitar any day of the week. So, I don't know. that Strat I got, that 50 Strat with the nice flame maple neck, I made an exception on that. That was $400. It was $399. Because I thought the flame maple neck was just gorgeous, and it was just like, there was something about it that justified that little bit extra expense. But I generally find that you don't need to spend more than $300 to get a nice guitar. Like I said, this guitar is $180, but it needed a little bit of work. If you're willing to go with a used guitar, you can get a really nice guitar for around $300. I think those Ibanez guitars I've been getting were really good. And I think that Squier Vintage Modified Strat is an awesome guitar. I mean, new, they're $250. Used, you can get them like $175. For $175, you're not going to get a guitar even close to that quality. Not even close. So they're out there. You don't need to spend $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 on a guitar. You just don't. People, you may want to, but that's a different thing. See, I don't want to. Why don't you sing more in videos? me. Well, for a couple of reasons. One, I'm not really a singer. I can sing a little bit. The other thing is that I record my videos late at night. And if I start singing, trust me, they're going to hear me upstairs. Because you got to sing in your full, your full voice, And usually at night, my voice is all, anyway. So it's, it's tricky. But you know what? I want to do it. I actually did record a little bit, and I just wasn't happy with the way it came out. I need a song that's like really in my range, and I'm finding it's like G. So I'll try and do that more. People think that song I did, the Can't You See cover I did on when I was showing off the Digitech there, they think that auto-tuned my voice. It didn't auto-tune my voice. In fact, that's what I have version 2. That's what version 3 would get me, is if I returned this version 2 and bought version 3, I would have got auto-tuning on my voice. But that one didn't have it. But it what it does is that it adds a little bit of compression and a little bit of reverb and a little bit of what do they call that? Aural exciter, right? Where it's they call it shine or something stupid like that, but it's basically an aural exciter, and it makes you sound good, and if it's in just the right range and whatever, I can sing it, but I'm backup singer at best. I really am, though I appreciate the vote of confidence. I hold in my hand the last question. And if you didn't get your question answered, just throw it down in the comments and I'll do it on my next frequently asked questions, though it may not be for a while because I'll have to amass a bunch of questions and then we'll take a look. Of all your guitars, which is your favorite? Oh man, that's another hard one. Well, the one I have the most history with is my RG 560 with the scallop fingerboard and the EMG pickups. I literally bought that new off the shelf in 1988. So, when you have a guitar for over 25 years, you have a bond. Right? And so that one's been with me the whole time. That's, probably my favorite of all my guitars. I do like the RG 3120. In fact, I was having a little trouble with it lately, and I just realized, the action was just too low. And I just raised the action a hair, and oh my God, it's like a whole new guitar. It's so much easier to play just by bringing the action up just a hair. So when you bend, you're getting the string caught on the front of your finger, and it's not slipping underneath your finger. That's where you struggle. So, it's probably the RG 560, my old 87, even though I bought it in 88, it's an 87. I do love that new Strat I got. That could quickly become a favorite. I really do like that guitar. It's so versatile, and the neck is really awesome on it. So I do like that. But I guess if I had to choose one, it would probably be the 88 Strat. The 88 RG560, just because I have such a history with it. All right, guys. Well, that was my frequently asked questions. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And I'll try to do it in the next installment, which may not be till 2015. We'll see. It could be a while. I did a frequently asked questions a while ago, but it was sort of tagged at the end of a bunch of another video, and I think it just sort of got lost in the shuffle. Or people just don't look at my vids. They're right to the PM. So tell me, have you ever played through a computer software rig? Seriously? As a matter of fact, I haven't. Oh, anyway. All right, guys. I'm just doing a bunch of these now. And I'll be back up here real soon. Got a few things in the works. I was working with a buddy trying to fix my buddy Chad over at... I'm trying to think of the name of his channel. I can't think of the name of it. Oh, God. Anyway, he was giving me some pointers on fixing the audio and getting that straightened out. It's pretty good. He had recommended this software package, this isotope that I might have to use to fix some of it. I mean, it's really bad. It's pretty steady for a while, but then it goes like way down, like we're talking through not a megaphone, but like over a telephone, right? You lose like all the beefiness, all the bass, and it just sounds, all of a sudden it's like peaked at 1K. Like some ridiculous sound, but we'll see if I can get it fixed. But at any rate, that's it for now. Still don't have a remote for the camera. We'll see. I wonder if that XA20 comes with a remote. I wouldn't mind getting one of those for next year. All right, guys. As always, rock on.